I mix what I like, what I like, what I like, what I like.
But anyway, this other piece though is around one of your favorite subjects, which is Bitcoin, and this person actually explains why Bitcoin is a scam. So it pretty much speaks for itself.
All right, let's go.
In the early 1920s, a businessman in Boston had a realization: everybody wants to get rich without doing any work. So this businessman came up with a brilliant idea to make a lot of money. And like all good financiers, he promised to make those around him really rich too. The businessman told his investors he was buying discounted coupons in foreign countries and making money reselling them in the US. There was a middleman opportunity that he claimed was totally safe and guaranteed a return. The businessman promised his investors a 50% profit in 45 days or 100% in 90 days. What this businessman was doing was paying the people who got in early with the money from the people who got in later. Those later investors, excited by hearing about a guaranteed high return investment, were left holding the bag. That businessman was named Charles Ponzi. His name has become synonymous with these sorts of schemes. His Ponzi scheme made millions of dollars in just a few months, but such a con can only go on for so long. Eventually you run out of other people's money. And for Ponzi, when that happens, you go to jail. 100 years later, a new bunch of wealthy investors say they too have a brilliant way to make you a lot of money. They promise to make you really, really rich. The best part is, they say, the returns are guaranteed. Anyone can buy with any amount of money. It's called Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a digital token with no physical or government backing that's run by a global decentralized network of computers. These computers keep track of every Bitcoin transaction and can move Bitcoins easily from one user to another. There are a limited number of Bitcoins in the world, 21 million, 19 million of which have already been mined. These mining rigs are large systems of computers which perform complex calculations, expending huge amounts of energy to create new Bitcoins. Massive Bitcoin mining farms are set up in places like Siberia and northeastern China, where people take advantage of cheap electricity in massive, wasteful facilities. But how Bitcoin works doesn't really matter that much. All of the stuff you hear about peer-to-peer technology and the blockchain really only explains how Bitcoin works as a currency. But despite the name, Bitcoin isn't really used much as a currency at all. When people buy Bitcoin, they rarely use it to buy goods and services. They're really buying access to a Ponzi scheme. Only 1.3% of Bitcoin's economic activity is in merchant transactions. The rest is speculation, people buying it just because they think it will go up. And the more it's used in speculation, the less incentive people have to actually use it as a currency.
Right.
Why buy something with Bitcoin when you can hold it and make some easy money? That's why the peak of Bitcoin being used to buy things was actually back in 2017, before its price really took off. And a currency should be stable in value, not bounce all over the place the way Bitcoin does. Rises are nice, but Bitcoin also falls a lot. If you want to speculate, that's fine, that's your own business. But you don't want the value of your checking account to gyrate wildly and unpredictably just because Elon Musk has tweeted about it. If you have friends or relatives who are into cryptocurrency, you know that the reason that people are into Bitcoin is because they think it can make them a lot of money. Because Bitcoin is just a digital token without any inherent value, they're not really making an investment. They're engaging in a financial betting game. Anything you invest in Bitcoin or Ethereum or Dogecoin just goes into the pocket of the previous holder. There's no real income generating asset behind it. What they're betting on is that other people will bet on it and the value will keep going up. If more people are joining the market, you can make money. You're not a sucker if the person next in line is a sucker too. And as long as you can make it out on time, the next guy is left holding the bag. The good news for these gamblers is that there are a lot of suckers in the world. The bad news is that eventually you run out of suckers. So to keep the scam running as long as they can, the wealthy proponents of Bitcoin say that it's changing the world.
Right.
They say that Bitcoin is going to replace fiat currencies like the dollar. They say that it's going to undermine cruel dictatorships and greedy banks and help usher in a libertarian utopia of privacy and
that it's going to free black people.
And most importantly, they say what every scam artist has said since the beginning of time. Get in right now and you'll make quick and easy money. Don't miss out on this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
And for the last few years, they've actually been right. If you'd spent $100 on buying shares of Apple in January 2016, you'd have about $540 now. If you spent that $100 on Bitcoin, then you'd have made more than $9,000. But that doesn't mean that Bitcoin is working. It means that a lot of people have fallen for the scam. And the more people who buy it, the more the price fluctuates, and the less usable it is as a currency. The success of Bitcoin as a speculative commodity has made it socially useless. You'd actually have made just as much money buying a parody cryptocurrency called Dogecoin that makes none of the grandiose claims that Bitcoin does. In fact, it explicitly started as a joke. Meanwhile, as more and more people speculate on Bitcoin, it consumes more and more electricity and emits more and more carbon. Because of how complex Bitcoin transactions are, they consume an incredible amount of power. One Bitcoin transaction consumes more electricity.
And my bad, real quick. We talked about this already. Is one of the founders of Dogecoin is himself come out and said it's a scam, it's a con, don't do it. I'm getting out of it. I should have never, blah blah blah. So anyway, I didn't know that part was actually.
I mean that's pretty much. I mean you can continue if you want, but I mean that's pretty much. Okay. I mean he pretty much touched it. I mean the fact that we were talking about a long time ago that you got to get in early. That's the whole thing with a Ponzi scheme. He covered that, and then, but I think the big takeaway for me was when he pointed out the fact that currencies typically, are not, even though they are unstable, of course, they're not that unstable where they go up and down the way Bitcoin has done. In a very short period of time. It usually would take a little bit of time, and then every now and then they'll have like a real big fall off. But Bitcoin goes like way up and way really big highs and lows, and not just Bitcoin, but all of them. So I just think that was a good point.
And to his point, if you ever watch on Twitter, as I sometimes do, when they have their regular crypto crash, and it's literally the hashtag crypto crash or something to that effect, letting people know that it's crashing, you see people, you see the whole thing. You see a whole bunch of tweets from people saying, "Oh my God, I'm losing all my money," and then you see others who are saying, "I'm buying
opportunity."
So I'm sitting there saying, who, and then you turn on some black targeting media outlet, and they're telling their audience, "This is how we're gonna get free. Why haven't you done it yet? This is, hurry up.
It's too late. It's too late. It's too late."
And as he said, and then they were, and Hill Harper and them were even advocating mining. And he just said 19 of the 21 million has already been mined
already.
So it's just like the actual stock market, where half of the stock is already owned by 2 or 3% or whatever.
It's just like BlackRock and Vanguard. They own 75%. I mean, so it's the same old game, man. Same old game.
4 white men have more land than all of us combined in this country, so all of that, but go buy land. We'll buy what land from who, and then do what with it? That's going to help the collective. And by the way, on that thing I was on last night, one of the brothers on the panel was talking about, it was funny because he said, because I was asked, what policies would you support to build wealth for the black community? And long story short, I said, cancel all the debt would be my number one thing. Cancel all debt. And the host, she says, yeah, I agree, because my student loan debt is and I said, hold on. I said, no, I said, excuse the interruption. I said all debt. Not just, I was like, let's get big with it. All debt should be canceled. So the brother comes back, and the first thing he says is, well, that wouldn't work because the banks that depend on that debt for their in their own wealth increase and their ability to lend and redistribute, they would lose their money, and the banks would then be in trouble. And I'm sitting there saying, and they'll
just get a bailout. They just get a bailout like they always do when they get in trouble.
so then he returned back to this is why we need to get our money right, and we need to do this, that, and the third. We don't need to cancel debt. We need to, do this, go back to the financial literacy.
Yeah.
And I'm saying, and I'm saying it's all bought up. There's nothing left. So anyway, I mean, it was wild. But listen. So let's do this.
And by the way, for people that wanted to know, the name of that video is "Why Bitcoin is a Scam," and I got to shout out my brother Kemet for sending that to me, because he watches this program, and he also so he's been kind of checking it out as well, and so he sent that to me and said that this he offered it as a good point of discussion.
This isn't Kemet Shockley. Is this
no.
We know
that's a
Kemet.
different. That's another Kemet.
All right,
yes,
well, shout out to all the Kemets.
Kemet 2X.
Shout out to Kemet 2X. Shout out to all the Kemets, man. There should be more Kemets out there.
Indeed.
I saw at the beginning of the crisis, there's already a COVID and Corona. If you remember that story, there's already been a pair of twins born during the crisis.
I did see that.
Corona.
They gotta be black. They gotta be black, probably.
Yeah, I mean, so I was like, if there's gonna be COVIDs and Coronas and baby Baracks running around now, we might as well have some more Kemets out there.
Hey, look, speaking of Hampton, I was looking, and they got a player on their team, on their football team. His name is Jadakiss. I said, Lord have mercy.
Wow.
This is a real life dude, play for Hampton University. I think he's a wide receiver. His name is Jadakiss.
You gotta love it.
Gotta love it.
Let's do this. So I thought there were two. At least one of our guests is here. So let's go ahead and take a quick transition again. Bring her on. I think she said she wanted to join this conversation anyway, so we can at least get started with her until everybody else gets here. So let's quick break. Here we go.
I mix what I like.